Yes, we all know that before the 2020 COVID-19, most of the states in the United States of America had abortion legal. They had considered abortion as human right. But now, after coronavirus swept a lot of people around the world, the many states in the US, a total of up to 11, have now banned abortion, meaning abortion is illegal in 11 US states. Well, if you are to remember, earlier on, before COVID-19, they had said the acceptance of abortion to be legal was as a result of human rights, but now they have gone down. Now, let's look at how superpowers are influencing things on Africa. This brings me to a question of the difference between democracy and dictatorship on as far as human rights and human being concerned. Well, as the title suggests, human rights versus human being. Uganda has recently passed a bill with tough punishments on LGBTQ community, in layman word, homosexuality, which I strongly agree with the amendment, because if you are to look at democracy, the people who consider themselves democratic, they say it is the power of the majority over the minority. So the majority vote takes over. Now, if you look at a country like Uganda, to be very sincere, the number of homosexuals are few. In fact, barely nobody has come clearly as a homosexual in the country. So they become total minority. Now, looking at the angle of democracy and dictatorship. So the parliament had majority over above 70% MPs voting in favor of the anti-homosexuality bill. Now, if this thing was also pushed back to the community, I think the percentage would even go up to 90%. So the bill that Museveni has just signed has just proved the interest of the Ugandans, the majority Ugandans, and a matter of fact, to be very sincere, the people who were doing homosexuality, predictably or urgently, are just being pushed by funding from outside, the interest for money. Now, I won't go back deep into the drawbacks of homosexuality, and I will not talk in the angle of religion, no. And I will also not talk in the angle of culture, because that is how most people who are pro-homosexuality talk to favor them. Now, let me talk about the reality and the law. What if the entire world, or a country like Uganda, or Africa, allows homosexuality to prevail or to go on as a legal matter? Then I believe there are those outside there who are interested in sleeping with animals. There are those who are interested in sleeping with their relatives. And there are those who are interested in committing suicide. These are just examples of things which all of us are looking at as criminal now. But homosexuality, some of the people are looking at it as something not criminal in other countries, or there are some other people who view it in that angle. Because people are trying to consider it over a new age of wisdom. I don't know, a decade ago it was not a thing to be considered legal. Now, if that thing passes on, how sure are we that those who would wish to grant right for suicide would demand for the right? In the future, you may realize that suicide or committing suicide will also be pressured to become a human right. What about incest? incest might also become a human right by the push of other people. And also, if we look at other lot of vices in the community, that seems not to affect people forcefully, because if you say sleeping with your relative, like a sister, mother or father, as long as you have agreed, they would defend it as not criminal because the person consented, they accepted without rape. Now you see where the great stupidity comes from. And that's how the stupidity of what we are talking right now has come about, the homosexuality. That's the angle of how it has come. This is my personal opinion. It's a right, freedom of speech. Even the USA supports the freedom of speech. The UN is introducing something called hate speech. This is not a hate speech. It's a matter of fact. So now, when the dictatorship helps humanity, then that's a good dictatorship. But at the end of it all, Museveni has not done anything like dictatorship. This is not dictatorship. The members of parliament voted without being bribed. The bill was passed. It was left only him sign. And in the favor of the majority, he signed. That is democracy. Now, when you bring that we must consider the minority, then what the minority are doing should be what is right. If the minority are demanding that they want right for suicide, they want right for incest, they want right to sleep with animals, bestiality, that is their right. I believe it cannot happen like that. We know there are going to be a lot of forces on the neck, maybe economically and the rest. But let's also say this. One day we should also tell the USA that why shouldn't they put a constitution by allowing those who wish to commit suicide to be legal? So that sometimes when people can commit suicide on a recorded video and they enjoy it. There are countries that have moved ahead to start considering legalizing sex with animals, sex with relatives. That is their law. But now, on the issue of this Museveni, I strongly agree with him. There are a lot of factual matters that personally have disagreed with the president, which are clear truths, of which he also knows in his heart that if he was to know that this guy was talking like this, it is the truth. But now on this issue, Museveni has been 100% correct. So if we look at democracy versus dictatorship, it is just like human right versus human being. Because there are a lot of things which are coming in form of human rights which are just destroying the world. Take for example, women's rights. I'm a pro-women rights activist, but I must say this. If the women rights coming is saying that they are really sincere, why are they not talking about women taking responsibility like other men in the home? Why are they not talking about digging 20 feet deep pit latrine? But they only talk about leadership and other positions. Men are digging 20 deep pit latrine here in Africa. Men are doing that. And also, why are you still allowing to take names of men in the church? If you get wedded or married, you take your husband's name. So campaign so that the what? Your name is also taken by the man. Now you see that? So now, why don't you also campaign to pay dowry for men? Yes, let women start paying dowry. So, in other words, there are certain contents of the human rights or the women's rights and other rights which are just exposing the weakness of the people in question. For example, the homosexual, the women or the women's rights and the rest. There's no youth right. It's not there. and yet they're also one of the vulnerable members of every community. So that thing is a very technical. So just like it is said, don't move by the trend of the changing world, but be transformed by the renewal of your own thinking. If I am asked, why have you decided to post this video? I would say, just to say the truth, for the media and for the world. Thank you. Thank you for watching this video as a part of Global Patriotism Program. Bye bye.
Come dance la kubu kubu, I'm so Uganda. Kubu kubu, come dance la kubu kubu, I'm so Uganda. Kubu kubu, come dance la kubu kubu, I'm so Uganda. Kubu kubu, come dance la kubu kubu, I'm so Uganda.